Well, first tonight, an inquest jury has found that some aspects of the restraint used on an armed robber were unreasonable and were more likely than not to have contributed to his death. Shane Bryant was held down outside a supermarket in Ashby in the incident 4 years ago. Well, the jury said today that his own actions contributed to his death, but also said that an off-duty police officer at the scene missed opportunities to manage Mr. Bryant's restraint. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball has been at the hearing in Loughborough this afternoon.
Well, the jury here spent 3 weeks hearing evidence about what happened on that fateful night. Evidence about how Shane Bryant died after a melee outside a high street supermarket. Tonight, Leicestershire police have released footage of what happened, and a warning: you might find some of the footage in this report distressing. A young father with a history of mental health problems, Shane Bryant went to Ashby to commit a violent crime. What happened next cost him his life. The robbery was caught on CCTV. It's late at night. He's armed with a baseball bat, forcing the terrified shop assistant to take him to the safe. But when he tried to escape, he was stopped by a group who'd been in a pub nearby. This footage, released by Leicestershire police, shows the start of a struggle that went on for 17 minutes. Shane Bryant fights hard to escape as he's restrained. He's punched, briefly held in a headlock. An off-duty policeman kneels on his shoulder as he lies face down on the ground. Mr. Bryant was struggling to breathe, the inquest heard, and stopped responding. He died in hospital 2 days later.
We fully accept Shane was doing something wrong that day, and yes, he should have been punished. He should have got locked up for however amount of time, but he should be alive still. I should have been able to visit him in a jail, not a cemetery.
This is body cam footage from a uniformed officer who responded. You can see Shane Bryant still being held down with a knee on his back.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of aggravated robbery. Suspicion of aggravated robbery. You do not have to say anything but my own defence. You do not mention one question, something which later on in court.
The inquest found that both Mr. Bryant's involvement in the incident and his resistance to being restrained contributed to his death.
He's not responding, is he breathing?
The jury said much of the force that was used to detain him was reasonable, but there were aspects that were unreasonable and more likely than not contributed to his death. And they said missed opportunities by an off-duty police officer in the management of Shane Bryant's restraint were also more likely than not to have contributed to his death. But they say there were no similar missed opportunities by uniformed police officers. Shane Bryant's family say the inquest has finally given them justice.
The jury's conclusion means we have been vindicated. It took the coroner's investigation with the help of the jury to get to the truth. This is an important step in the fight for proper accountability for Shane's death.
This has been an emotional day for Shane Bryant's family and their supporters. The coroner told them his passing has left an unfillable void and said nothing emerged that suggested his death was either inevitable or justifiable.
So, Jeremy, what have the police had to say about this ruling?
Well, and we've had a statement from them tonight saying what happened was extremely distressing. Their thoughts and sympathies with both Shane Bryant's family and with everybody else who was involved in this. But they say officers and members of the public were simply trying to do the right thing when they were unexpectedly faced with a terrifying situation. Here's the Deputy Chief Constable.
We know that this was an extremely challenging, difficult situation for him or any officer to find themselves in. And we continue to give the officer all the support at this time. We now need to consider our response to the findings and work through what our next steps will be. But as you can expect, we will remain in close contact with the Bryant family and any other organisation that is involved as we move forward.
As for Shane Bryant's family, well, they've told us tonight that they're now considering further legal action. That includes challenging the police misconduct report. They're looking at possible civil action. Their lawyers also raised the possibility of criminal action, investigating whether the actions of the people who restrained Shane Bryant amount to assault.
OK, Jeremy, thank you very much.